What's going on, fam? Welcome to Just Thoughts. I'm your host, Justin, and this is my platform to be able to just explore new thoughts I've been having from the previous week, and really just want to have a space that I can verbalize thoughts. I recently moved here to Sandy, Utah, and it's a new place for me. I don't really know anyone and don't have a whole lot of people to talk to, so I felt like I needed a spot to vocalize things. I think lots of times I get caught up in my own head, as many of us do, and it can be scary to just have things in your head. So this is my effort to not get stuck in my own head and to really vocalize some things. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. We'll figure it out together, though. So the thought that I've been having recently is it's hard to feel. Many of us don't know what it means to feel. And in a world where social media and short form content and our attention span has plummeted to like 3 seconds, I think studies show that it's like 2.3 seconds or something like that now, is insane. But the only thing that does give me hope is we also see the other side of things where people will listen to a 3 or 4 hour long podcast and be totally invested, totally locked in. So we have like totally two different spectrums where you have short form where people can only listen for 2 seconds. But then you have long form that people will listen for 4 hours. So I think it gives some hope that as long as it's something that we are invested in, something that we enjoy, then we'll definitely listen to it. So that's given me hope to where we are in society, that, you know, maybe we are on the up and up in our attention spans, and our want for connection or want for greater value is starting to change. We're not so caught up in the exchange of 3 seconds for that dopamine hit. We'll be willing to spend those 3 hours to really feel the long-term effects of what we're listening to or what we're watching. So I think that's something that I've been thinking of is, you know, we exchange our time for these dopamine hits on social media, you know, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But is that constant flooding of dopamine short, you know, the short dopamine hits. I've caught myself where I get so caught up in it that I tend to lose my feeling, or I get desensitized to feelings. And it makes it really difficult for me to want to go out and connect with anyone else because I'm so overwhelmed with the feelings that I've just gotten from my phone. So how do I get away from that? You know, how do I get out of this addiction of quick dopamine? And, you know, podcasts have definitely helped me, you know, listening to these 2, 3, 4 hour long podcasts. I get way more enjoyment and, you know, long-term sustained enjoyment from listening to those over me scrolling for 2 or 3 hours on TikTok, you know? So I think the hardship for me is algorithms are so good nowadays. And sometimes we aren't strong enough to beat it. It scares me. You know, I get caught up in it for, 30 minutes and I'm like, shoot, what did I just get out of this? And it was probably nothing. And then my career at the moment is social media. So sometimes I convince myself that it's for work, but then it's really not. And I just spent the last hour saying it's for work, but it's really turned into me not working and just getting lost in the scroll. So I don't know, man. It's a weird world we're living in, but it does give me hope that we'll figure it out. The ultimate goal for this whole, I don't know if you call it podcast or just thought dumps, is to hopefully convince myself that I'm not always crazy, or have people call me out on the crazy. But yeah, it's just to vocalize some stuff, and I don't know if I'm rambling, but something else that I've been thinking of is, in society, men are in an impossible situation right now, where we're told that we need to be more vulnerable and we need to share more feelings, but then there's the other side of it, that there's not enough masculine men, toxic masculinity, and there's no coaching, there's no guidance, no one knows. We're in uncharted territories right now. And we have to listen to the successful men that we see right now. The men that hold true to their values, hold true to their word, and don't compromise what they believe. And it can be hard, especially in today's society where everything's telling you need to conform, you need to get with the woke agenda, you need to whatever it be. And women are sometimes going to gaslight you. Not all of them, but there's lots of them that are going to gaslight you into, you're not sharing enough, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. But men, you're doing great. Let me tell you that right now. Dudes, you're doing awesome. You're doing great. Now, for the dudes that are just sitting there scrolling, like I was just talking about, many of us get caught up in it. But if you have ambitions that you are striving for and you're working towards these goals, you're doing better than 90% of what these other guys are doing. So I'm speaking to you dudes. You're doing awesome. You're doing good. This is also a pep talk for myself because I get caught in it as well. And I got to remind myself that I am doing good. I am doing more than majority of people are. However, there's still room for improvement. There's still room for me to stop wasting time, get better, improve on my craft. And I think this is kind of my excuse to start working on my craft a little bit more, is just to speak in front of the camera and vocalize some things. But I think we got caught up in when we do share and when we do get vulnerable with women. There's been so many freaking times that I've opened up to women, and as soon as I do, I share something vulnerable, I share something raw, they just use it against me. And it almost reaffirms my entire childhood whenever you share things, that it's just going to get used against you. And it's not worth sharing. But I have to have this belief that there is that someone out there that, there is that woman out there that I'll be able to share to, that's not going to use it against me. Maybe it's just me being naive. I don't know. But I sure hope that there is someone out there that I can share these things to and not have that be brought up in an argument or used against me. Because what that ultimately has done for me is it shuts me down. it removes me entirely emotionally from a relationship, which is the worst thing for a relationship that I've learned, is removing emotions out of it entirely. Like, yeah, you can have fun times, but at the same time, like, you can go have fun times with your freaking dudes. You can interchange that person of having fun times with anyone, but the emotional connection is what's going to sustain a long-lasting relationship. And if I'm emotionally removed from it, then there's not really any relationship going on. And it's hard when someone uses that stuff against you in an argument, because all it does is make me want to just revert back to doing nothing, revert back to not sharing anything. And I don't know. I think there is hope still for dudes. I think there's hope for us. And I think it's okay to continue to share. I think for me right now, my walls are very much so up. And I'm not afraid to share and be vulnerable in that aspect. I'm afraid that it's going to bite me in the future, and makes me very untrusting of women. And the only time that I've ever felt safe in sharing things is with my best friend and with my brother. Those are the two dudes that I can share anything with and know that they're not going to use it against me. They're just there to support and love me. So, for you men that don't have those people, I would encourage you to hopefully find someone that will just hold that space for you. If you can't find anyone, hit me up. I'll hold that space for you, man. Because I know that it's hard. And especially when you're driven, ambitious, and everyone thinks you're insane for what you're doing. You're not, man. I got your back. I'll support you all the way. And we need that person that you can just bounce things off of or just vent to. Because if we don't, we get caught up in our own head. We get caught up in thinking we're crazy when you're really not. You're just being human, man. I know for me, I get caught up in feeling like I gotta be Superman. I can never do anything wrong. And I get burnt out. And then I tend to lash out at the people that I care about the most, because they say one thing that was not intended the way that it was supposed to, and then I lash out at them because of it. So it's important that you do find those few people that you can be open and vulnerable with, so that you don't end up lashing out at the people that you care about most and end up losing them long term. So I think I'm kind of rambling, but hopefully that connected with you guys. Those are the thoughts that I've been having for quite a while, that, you know, this was more healing for me than you probably recognize. But for me, just to vocalize and share some thoughts, it's always been my most healing moments, when I can just share and not feel the repercussions of it. So hope you guys know that I got your back. I'll support you all the way, but you gotta keep working. It's individualized. Keep doing what you're doing. You got this, fellas. Keep working. Love y'all. See you next week. Peace.